Sunday I will be, but tomorrow's going to be limited because she's. To be fair, when she says jump, you. And I say
Welcome to the HyPrix Porsche Cup, presented by GT Champions.
Good evening, race fans. How about this then? We are already at round 4. Hi, it's me, Pirate. It is very late here in the UK, but we are here for round 4, Division 3 of the HyPrix GT Champions Porsche Cup at Daytona Infield. The brilliant Porsche 911 RSR. What a car this is. Yeah, really looking forward to this event. Every race has just been absolutely brilliant. So tonight it's all about Division 3. Let's have a look how we are standing from last week. Kaizan took the win last week, pole position and fastest lap, absolutely dominant. To be fair, he's a Division 2 driver all day long. Takes the win. Mikhail second place. PT Snow was in third. Average Viper, tonight's glorious host, in fourth place. Fuzak fifth. Spider in sixth. Toolshed seventh. HyPrix eighth. Benji, I'm not calling him Diablos, I can't do it. He's going to be Benji forever and a day for me. Big Red, Hannah and Magic Cook in 12th place. That's how they lined up at the end of Watkins Glen last week. This is how it sets out the table. Kaizan leads the way with 46 points. Average Viper just 3 points behind from HyPrix. So looking for a good result from HyPrix tonight. Forza Ferrario down in 14th for HyPrix. So good opportunity for Forza to just push his way up the order today. Talking of HyPrix, they are our glorious sponsors. They are all about many things. Sim racing, graphic design, logos, branding, overlays, sports graphics, clothing, data design, liveries, web design. Listen, they're brilliant. They are absolutely brilliant. Anyone that's watched any streams with me before will realise that when I do anything that HyPrix are involved in, it looks awesome. When HyPrix are not involved, it looks like it was put together by a small child with some crayons. They are absolutely brilliant. Do check them out for any of your needs. So here we are. We are here and ready to go. A little bit confused as to why Mikhail's in our group. I'm sure Mikhail is. I know he is group 3, isn't he? Anyway, whatever. So I'm your host, Pirates. This is sponsored by HyPrix. It's the Porsche Cup. We are Black Flag Racing TV covering Division 3. We are filling up the lobby very quickly, ready for qualifying in about a minute's time or so. 11th of February. It is, it says 11th of February, but it's not 11th of February. It's the, well, it is, it'll be 11th of February in a minute. 60-minute race, 10 minutes qualifying. Grid start, of course. Light damage, BOP is on, tuning is off. Fuel is times 2, tyres is times 2. They can use any tyres they like. If they want to go soft, they can. Soft, medium, soft, hard, whatever they want to do. No restrictions on that. The weather will be random, which means the track will evolve as the race goes on. The time of day will start at sunrise. It's times 12, so it's going to be a big kind of arc of the day. In fact, it'll be a full day at night cycle because times 12 over a 1 hour race will be, yeah, there we go. It'll be an awesome thing. Right, so here we are. Let's you can see the lobby there. We're going to jump in because qualifying is not far off starting. Settings have just been changed. Let's jump in and get cracking and see what people are doing on track, shall we? Rather than messing around. I'll tell you the situation tonight is that we're a bit short tonight, so we'll have a look at all the drivers that we've got out there. I think it's only fair we give everyone a fair crack as we kind of head out there for some quali action. There's Magic Cook. They're all in the Porsche, so we don't have to look at the cars, but we don't have a look at the livery, so the room has just been reset. There we go. I can't look at the cars until they go out, but we will in a sec. As I said, this is round 4 Division 3 at Daytona. We come back tomorrow for Division 1. Touch wood, we have the wonderful Chris Paul, Presidio Dog, doing Group 1. Unfortunately, you might be stuck with me. He's having a few technical issues at the moment, which we're hoping to get sorted out. And but whatever happens, you will see me again for Division 2, 24 and a half hours from now. Right, so everyone's starting to head out. We have got how many tonight? We've got just 11 in the lobby tonight. Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed with the turnout. You know, it's a solid, great racing series. And, you know, we've got people sitting on the waiting list that want to do this. It's a shame that, you know, it's a 6-week series, but you know, life is important, and sometimes it throws curveballs your way, and you can't always be where you need to be. So there is Spider for RWB Racing, and I've said how much I love this livery. It's two of my favourite colours, red and blue. Looking really cool. There's Magical for ISA Racing Group, unmistakable livery. And if you like that livery, then do check ISA out, because Kevin, other known as Renegade for ISA, does some beautiful artwork on the cars. Talking of beautiful artwork, there is some beautiful work there from Urban Pirate himself for Black Flag Racing. That's our car, that's our entry. It's not as beautiful as others, but yeah, that's our offering. Jay turning out for us this evening. There's Chip Reese. I do really like that, actually. It's that black, white and kind of red theme. Yeah, really cool. May have to restart. Okay. Cruentes, he jumps in from, I believe he's jumping in from the wait list. Cruentes. We did see him race in Division 4 last season for GT champions, so he's not an unknown here. And I think, if I remember rightly, in GT champions he finished 4th here. Could be wrong. There's Toolshed, another ISA driver. Very quick as well. He can certainly chuck in some good laps. And thank you, Toolshed, for your kind comments about my D's of the Dailies thing that's going on at the minute. It might be a bit late this week, folks. Anyone that does watch my D's of the Dailies weekly video, it might be late this week because I was dragged around IKEA this morning. I say this morning, we went this morning, but we arrived home this afternoon by the missus, who's decided that she has a lot of furniture for me to put up, and it means I have to go to the job where my tools have been left to go and get my tools to build them tomorrow. So might be a bit late getting that video done. Fuzerk, we've got a lot of ISA drivers in Division 3 today. Interesting. How much teamwork would it be, or will it just be purely survival of the fittest? Well, we'll soon find out. There's Fuzerk, there's another one. There's Isa Hannah. And Hannah did, I'll tell you what, she can be tired today, because she did turn out last night for the charity event that ART and myself were involved in, Racing for Cancer, that raised over £1,000 for cancer research yesterday. Congratulations to everyone involved in that. It was an absolutely brilliant event, and loads of money raised, so very happy with that. Chip Reese, we're back to him. Average Viper, there we go. The HyPrix driver. Where's Forza Ferrari? To be fair, I think Forza's got some problems with some drift on his controller thingy. So got some issues there with that. But there is our HyPrix driver. And last time I saw him race at Daytona was in the World Cup in Division 4, and he won this race. So do not count this guy out. Right, so in terms of lap time, that is a solid. When I was about to say we're looking at low 46s for qualifying times, and Kaizan from Australia has just given us a 45.9 to put himself on pole. Toolshed alongside another Australian. The Australian's very strong yesterday. 46.2 joins him on that front row. Row 2, there is Joe, 46.6 from him. Gets in there, Black Flag. About time we had a decent result, of course. Spider from RWB joins him on that second row. 147.1. Just checking I've got everything where it needs to be. Okay. Message from the boss man, but it's something to be dealt with after the race, of course. There's Mikhail. We know Mikhail. Mikhail's quick. He is really quick. So at the moment 48.3, but I imagine we'll be seeing him chucking in a fast lap. And I do like that livery. I don't know how we missed that going through the liveries earlier. There's Hannah, 49.2. She's got certainly, she's already going quicker. We can see that she's already 7th up on that time. There's Fuzerk with a 153.3. Now, where are the big zones on this track? There's he's 4 seconds up, or you would be. But yes, so we'll do it on board in a minute, and we'll look at where the big zones are on this track. Magic Cook with a 154.3. We've got Krentes, he's a 147.6. Viper, waiting for his time to come in. Chip Reese, still waiting for a time from him. So Magic Cook goes on to pole. That's a 145.5, and that is a very, very quick qualifying lap. So I'm going to go on board with. I'm trying to find someone who's just crossing the start-finish line, actually, would be a good idea. There we go. Let's go with Isa Hannah, because she's closest to crossing the start-finish line. So, a couple of really key corners here. Turn 1 is one of them. I would say there's 3 key corners, turn 1 being the first. Now, it's very likely that from the start, there's going to be a bit of carnage here. I'm going to say this out loud in case anybody that's racing this is listening. Just take it easy through turn 1. Get changed down, second gear, get it turned in. It's wide enough to go too wide. It's not wide enough to go 3 or 4. If you've got to back out, but you are faster, you'll get the place later. It's a long race. Do not go crazy. I don't want to have to red flag it straight from off the bat. So that is your next turn there. You get it's not a great turn there actually for her. You head down. What's going on? This is a little bit weird on the gearing. This is another big braking zone here because it's so easy to drift out to the left hand side and get that very wrong. But then on the power, you head down. This one of the biggest, most important turns on the racetrack, because how you get out of here will determine just how well your lap goes. The faster you exit that turn, the better it is for you, because you want to be doing the maximum speed as you get out of the sort of infield section there. Old Man Jay with a 146.6, 49.0 for Chip Reese. And then you head into the bus stop. Now, the bus stop, really tricky turn. For me, I like to go in 4th, changing down to 3rd. And she's done that, she's gone into 4th, change to there. I like to change down to 3rd because I think it gives you a better rotation coming out of there. But it's down to personal preference. But the exit, and there you see, with that extra bit of pace coming through there, you've got the danger of picking up a penalty, and you can see there she's picked up that half-second penalty coming out because of that extra speed, which is why I feel you come in 4th gear, it gives you some good entry speed. You change down to 3rd just to get that rotation, to get the car swinging back round to the right-hand side, and then you can get on the power because the exit out of there is so important. But there we go. We will do a fast lap with one of the big fast guys. So Fuzerk with a 45.1. These lap times are starting to really tumble down. Magic Cook joins him on the front row. That's a 45.5 for him. Mikhail is sub 46 as well with a 145.655. Kaizan with a 145.9 has not been able to improve on that, but hella consistent 45.959, 45.950, and a 45.900. That's really consistent timings. And if they can churn that kind of consistency out during the race, it's going to be very difficult to look past Kaizan for a result here. Toolshed, can't see what time he's done, but he's only a couple of tenths slower than Kaizan. As Kaizan had actually improved and moved to that front row with a 45.3, so hella consistent, apart from when he's going super quick. Spider, best lap so far, 46.2. That is good for 6th place, and that is row 3. Just not a bad place to start. And it's a one-stopper all day long, but it's a sort of medium soft one-stopper. Very, very difficult to do this with 2 stints on the soft tyres. It's such an abrasive track here. Very, very difficult to do anything but run medium soft. Average Viper. There is Tom, our glorious host this evening, the HyPrix driver. 146.2 for him. That's a good solid. That puts him on row 4. Correntes just behind him with a 46.4. Jay moving down the order now, 46.6 for him. But you know, it's about the sprint, not the about the marathon, not the sprint, should we say? Hannah 48.0 is her fastest lap, and Chip Reese with a 49.0. Such a shame we've only got 11 drivers out there today. But you know, it is what it is. Now we've still got Division 1 and Division 2 to come here at Daytona over the next couple of days. You may have noticed there was a small change to the final race. It was advertised as Trial Mountain, but it's actually going to be at Interlagos, and there may have been a little bit of moaning about it, but in all honesty, I don't think there's anything to moan about. I think anybody that prefers Trial Mountain over Interlagos, you need to give your head a wobble, people, because what a track. Interlagos is one of the iconic racetracks. What a racetrack that is. And in these GT3 cars, these Porsche 911s, it's just such a brilliant track. It's a track that's got everything. You know, you've got the really fast straights. You've got these you've got similar corners to here where you have to get out of the corner quickly and get the power down. You've got that little go-karty bit in the middle. Great track, and I for one am very happy that the track has changed. But there we go. So final lap for pretty much everyone out there. This is your chance to put in that final lap if you've got it. Fuzerk currently on pole, 45.1, joined on the front row by Magic Cook with his 45.3. Kaizan also on the 45.3. There are literally 0.08 of a second difference between them. Kaizan heads up row 2, of course, with Mikel. Average Viper heads up row 3 with Spider. Toolshed on row 4 with Correntes. Row 5 is Jay with Chip Reese, and at the back of the pack is Hannah, who will put in an absolute shift today. And I'm sure that time is going to play a factor. 3 hours of charity racing yesterday certainly takes its toll on you. It's very good fun, but if you want to check it out, you can find it on the YouTube channel where you'd expect. There's 2 videos fun. There's the one that Black Flag ran themselves, and there's one with the brilliant commentator Super Squid. Look, Chris is brilliant. I'd like to think I'm okay. Super Squid, you've got to check him out. He's absolutely fantastic as a commentator. And I don't know how you managed to juggle 3 lobbies and commentate them and get it. Just such an effort yesterday. Applause, much applause. So that is the final order for the 11 runners. Fuzerk is going to lead us out from the ISA racing. And I'll tell you what, very ISA heavy today. Benji, despite not being here, is going to be a very, very happy man seeing so many ISA drivers out there racing and for the ISA racing team. So, if you didn't know already, I'm Urban Pirate. This is Black Flag Racing TV, helping out with the HyPrix GT Champions Porsche Cup at Round 4, Division 3 at Daytona. This is HyPrix. These are glorious sponsors. And without HyPrix, this wouldn't be possible. These amazing graphics you see, this amazing race competition is all down to Team HyPrix. And we've got a representative, of course. We've got Average Viper at the same flying the flag for them. And they, they're very involved in actual racing as well as sim racing. They've got sim races in and across all platforms, iRacing included, and some really, really quality stuff. But it's not just about that. It's about what they do behind the scenes. The graphics, the logo design, the branding, the overlays, the sports graphics, clothing, liveries, web design, I mean, everything. They've got their own sponsors, of course, but HyPrix make this possible. As do GT Champions. Without GT Champions, we wouldn't have this awesome competition. So, almost ready to start. A couple of minutes till we go green. It's going to be an interesting race because if you look at the top four there, you can see the times. We don't even need to look at their names to see that they are separated by just half a second between Fuzak at the top there and Mikhail in fourth. And two ISA drivers on the front of the grid today, Fuzak Magical. Then we've got Toolshed and then Hannah, the other two ISA drivers. So it's a very ISA heavy audience there. We've got two Australian drivers out there, Kaizan and Toolshed. We've got 4, 5, 6 British drivers, four British drivers, sorry. Well, three British drivers and one British commentator. Quite proud to say that, of course. A couple of 3 American drivers and 1 Canadian. One lone Canadian among all of the rest of us. But this just goes to show how much of an international feel this competition has, that we are literally spread out all across the world. Looks like everyone's ready to go. You know what we're going to have to do, because it happens every single time, is we're going to jump into the race. It's going to start the countdown and we have to jump out and jump back in, because still PD are unable to code a very simple thing like keeping all your camera views available. And please, PD, I'm going to beg you again, please, can we have our keyboard controls back and our replays? Please, 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 please. There's my begging done for the day. It is what it is. I think I'm ready to start, but I have just become acutely aware that the cold drink I got out of the fridge, ready for this race, is still sitting next to my fridge. I'll find out. I won't get it just yet. I've got a little bit left. Let's see if I can survive with the half a glass of cold water that I've got left with me. Trying to keep hydrated, of course, because it's healthy, of course. So here we go. Get all the information we need up there. We will jump in. Wait for the little beepy beepies. It's so annoying that it keeps the music going on. We're going to just jump out quickly, and then we'll jump back in, and we should be. And we are away. And I'm going to stay with this view because it gives us a good view down to turn 1, and hopefully we won't lose anybody into turn 1. It's always a danger when we get there that it all goes very much off, and we head down. It's looking pretty good so far, not losing anyone, no real big coming together. There is a little spin there, but I think that was self-inflicted more than anything else. Just the one car, I think, affected there. No real, no, I think we're all right. I think it's just the one car with the spin, but we're all right coming out of turn 1. There we go, job done. No need for a red flag there. Didn't expect it to happen. Who was the big loser there though? Was that looked to be Jay. J49 from Black Flag, he was the big loser there. Unfortunately, no red flag. There wasn't. Well, I say unfortunately. It's unfortunate for Jay, but not unfortunate for everybody else, because there was just no need for it there. But turn 1 is always dangerous here, but we seem to get through quite successfully. So Fuzak leads us out from Kaizan, Mikhail and Magical. They're your top 4. Heading into this oval section 4 for the first time in the race today. It'd be interesting to see what different strategies people are going for. I think there's going to be 2 distinct strategies. You're going to have a lot of people starting on the soft tyres, just having a little run down and seeing who's doing what. Oh no, you won't, but that's because it's my business, not yours. As we see HyPrix and Toolshed having a little battle. It looked like Toolshed had a bit of a coming together early on, and he does make the move on HyPrix, and HyPrix quite prepared to come back at him as they move into the bus stop. And it's a great shot there. Toolshed just staying ahead, HyPrix in 11th place. Jay finds himself 8 seconds back. Just it didn't go well for him into turn 1. It didn't look like he got caught. It looked like he just kind of lost the back end a little bit. But I'm sure if there was an issue, we'll hear about it later. So there is Fuzak from Canada. He is already 7/10 clear of Kaizen, the Australian, running in second place. And it's still really close as they go through turn 1 for the second time. And this is very clean. To be fair, it's clean. I genuinely expected to be calling a red flag 2 or maybe 3 times. Well, certainly 2 times into turn 1. Because it's so... It's other than Monza, I think this is the worst track for turn 1 in the game. In that, you know, people go in there and you don't realise, you know, it's a 60-minute race and you get people going in there all excited, and let's face it, I mean, you are excited, it's a good race and you want to get involved, and you get in there and you a little bit overcook it and then it can go horribly wrong. But here's the full rundown. Fuzak in the lead, he's half a second clear of Kaizen from Australia. He is half a second clear of Magic Cook, who is half a second clear of Mikhail. That top 4 just pulling away from the rest of the pack. 1.2 seconds back to Average Viper from HyPrix. He's got a 1.2 second gap to Corentis, who is 2 seconds clear, but a little bit of damage on the back of Corentis there. Did he get a little nudge maybe from Isahana, who is 2 seconds back with 8/10 to Spider from RWB Blue Racing. 1 second back to Tushed from Australia, who has already pulled out a 2 second gap on Chip Reese. And J49 bringing up the rear with an 8.9 second gap. That turn 1 incident has really set him right back at the back of the grid, but still plenty to play for here. Just get your head back in the game and get on with it is the best way to do it. And that's a 1:45 sec, and that's qualifying pace here on lap 1, and surely that's not sustainable with how abrasive this track can be on your tyres. That's not a sustainable long-term kind of solution to putting in lap times here. I think you need to be settling into steady 146s. You know, that's Division 1 pace on the tyres. And of course, these guys, no offence to them. And look, you know, I'm going to be brutally honest. The bottom of Division 3 and the top of Division 1, there's very little to separate them. And the people in Division 2 I feel for them, because that division is so close in terms of ability. We only have to look at HBR, who was leading this division, gets promoted and was fighting with the top 3 at Watkins Glen last week. So it's all to play for, and still opportunities for people to move up as spaces become available. Let's go and do it. Let's do it on board actually with Fuzak. We'll do it with across the line actually. Let's not do it yet. I'm so tired of not having my keyboard controls. Let's go. Let's keep an eye on Average Vipers. There he is. He's still 1.5 seconds off that front 4. The front 4 just opening up a little bit of a gap from everybody else. Magic Cook, fastest man out there with a 1:45.5. It seems that the front runners have gone for super pace early on, and maybe looking at a shorter run for them. It really depends on how well they can look after the tyres. There's only really, you know, we look at Watkins Glen where there was Cleo and Road Atlanta. There were 2 clearly different strategies where you could go a 2-stop which was just soft tyres, or a 1-stop which was soft and medium. But I mean, I've run a couple of scenarios here, and there is no way that anything other than soft and medium here is a viable solution, because the pit stop here is just too long to make it that viable. But Fuser leads them out. He's 8/10 clear of Kaizen, who is, I think they're just kind of settling into a bit of a rhythm now, the front 3. The gap very similar between them. They're settling into their rhythm. Mikhail sticking with them, slowly pulling away from Average Viper. And that is a good question actually, because damage appears to be on a heavy, and I fully expected that damage should have been on light. So a little bit confused about that. I don't know if that's supposed to have changed. That is a very good question from Jay about damage being on heavy, because I was looking, I did notice actually that Corentis still has the same damage from the start that that should have come off by now. So it should have been light damage. I suppose I could have a look. Let's get some more on board. So waiting to hear from Average Viper what. And the thing is, we're already on lap 4 now. The thing is, it's going to have an impact on the entire race, because people are going to have to pit that wouldn't necessarily have to because of the damage issue. Let's wait and see what happens. But that gap has really closed down for Jay, actually. He's closed, it was 8 seconds. He's now just 7 tenths behind HyPrix, who's 10 seconds. Well, Jay's asking for a restart. I don't think it's an unreasonable request, but I think on lap 4, I don't know, it's not down to... You know, I'm there to call a red flag and it comes out. It wasn't really a red flag situation. But this has got to be down to the host to decide. Wonder what... just get a message from somebody. I won't do it from President now. The question is just being asked, actually. Talk about yourselves while I try and communicate elsewhere. So just sorting this little issue out. There we go. So I can't tell you what the next move is, but this is what I can tell you is happening right now. Fuzerk is in the lead. Right, so I've been told that it needs to restart. So I'm going to drop a message into the group now and let them know. So let me tag Viper in. Talk amongst yourself while I can't type and talk at the same time. So it is going to be restarted. To be fair, it does make sense. So as we're restarting, it gives me an opportunity to go and grab that drink that I left on the side, doesn't it? Let's wait for that to be restarted. Let's put this up for the time being and shut that down. So there we go. It's going to be restarted. We're going to take. It's going to be probably about 5 minutes while we get the grid reset and all that. Apologies to everyone watching. These things happen. You know, sometimes we have technical problems, and it's one of those things. You know, what can we say? You know, it's not on purpose. I promise. Right. I'll be back. So I'm just going to go grab a drink. I'll literally be 30 seconds. I lied. I was a minute. I noticed the cold pizza still sitting in the kitchen. I had the kids out here and I couldn't resist. Could not resist. Excuse the slobbering sounds. It's good pizza. So everything being reset. Apologies to everybody watching. Don't always get it right. If that was the case, we'd be perfect, and it's very difficult to be perfect. I do try. And let's be fair, usually at some point during a broadcast, it's me that gets it wrong. So I'm quite pleased that somebody else got it wrong today for a change. And I feel for Average Viper, for Tom, because I'm sure it wasn't intentional. So I'm stuffing my face with this really cool pizza. Oh, so here's the other kicker. Cross fingers that we have a very similar turn one this time, in that we don't have a mass pile up. Never like calling for a red flag anyway. It's very difficult because red flags are not something that anyone ever wants to call in a game, or in a race at all, but sometimes they happen. This will be the first time I've ever seen it called on lap 4 though, but it does make sense. And to be fair, I probably should have noticed, yeah. So not far off. Right, so what can we say? Where are we? We are at Daytona. Rewind. Round 4, Division 3 at Daytona. Take 2 coming up very shortly. We've got just the 11 runners today. Trying to get a reserve in. That would be awesome if we can get some reserves in. It's a shame actually, because one of the reserves on the list is a black flag driver, but I know for a fact that his father is ill, so he's going to be unavailable this evening. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute then. I'm going to take this 5 minutes to have a wee, I suppose. I'm going to have a wee and refill my vape juice. I'm still here, I haven't gone anywhere. Just filling up my vape juice and pottering really more than anything else. Just waiting. I think they're trying to get a reserve in to fill up the group a little bit, which would be awesome if we can. How you doing, Fingers? Thank you for joining us. We've had to restart for no other reason other than the fact that the group settings were wrong for the Porsche Cup, but we are back and we are going to be underway again in just a few seconds. So, perfect timing. This is Division 3, Round 4 of the HyPrix GTC Porsche Cup. Take 2. And this time, the settings are correct. This time we have the same 11 runners. This time, hopefully, we still get through turn 1 without any problems. Let's remove that. Let's bring up that. We know what we've got to do. We've got to jump out. We've got to jump back in very quickly. Let's move down the order a little bit. Just make sure we get through turn 1 safely before we do anything else. That's the key as they cross the line. So there we go. Into turn 1. Looks like the front runners are through. No damage there. Let's go through a little touch from Average Viper on the back of Jay. Just one driver involved there though. That's got to be looked at. I think a little tapping, a little love tap on the back of Jay. Very unlucky twice for it to happen to him. I've got to say, it's incredibly unlucky for that to have happened. Average Viper did give him the position back though. That is very, very sporting of him. Very sporting indeed. Don't see it very often. You've just thank you very much, Fingers. I will have a look at them later when I get an opportunity. Thank you very much. Very, very happy actually. Fingers, I need to put you in touch with, actually, funny enough, Predator Dog is watching this. I need to put you in touch with Predator Dog, who's which is because he's helping with our website. I'll put you two in touch at some stage. Right, so anyway, Fuzerk is half second clear of Magic Cool. Kaizan third, Mikhail in fourth, Toolshed running in fifth place. Spider from RWB is in sixth. This is lap 1. We're at Daytona. This is Mark 2 of the race after the restart. Quentes in 7th place. Chip Reese running in 8th. Hi Sahana, she's back in 9th place. Jay in 10th. Average Viper, he did hang back after giving Jay spinning Jay around into turn 1. Gave him that place back. Very, very sporting. Clearly knew there was going to be a penalty coming if he didn't, so did the right thing. Doesn't help Jay's race though, but saying that, Jay is only 4.3 seconds back this time rather than the 8 seconds after race number 1. Penalty for Jay there, just came a little bit hot out of the bus stop, and that will see him serve this penalty, and Viper will just go diving past. So Fuzerk leads them out. He was the leader when the restart happened. He's the leader again now. Gap very similar. It's half a second, half a second, half a second, as it was in the first attempt at getting this race underway. Magical running in second. So I've just seen a message from the boss that just made me laugh. Chris, I didn't forget. I did know it was there. I was concentrating on making sure that I was going to dive in and out at the right time. Okay. Kaizan running in 3rd place. Mikhail in 4th. Toolshed in 5th. Chris, to be honest, I'm being quite mindful that today I'm the one that doesn't make a cock up, because usually it's me. I want to leave that firmly in the lap of Tom for today, and believe me, I will not let him forget it if I get the opportunity to do so. Toolshed running in 5th, good running from him. Currently purple for him. Fuzerk lap 2 with the fastest lap, 1:57.0. Now the fastest lap before the restart was a 55.5. Was it 55.5 or 45.5? 45.5, of course. Spider running in 6th place. He's already 3.5 seconds off that top 5. We've got the same situation. Those top 4, Fuzerk, Magical, Kaizan, and Mikhail, are already doing. It's almost like a mirror image of what happened in the before the restart. 1:55.2 from Kaizan. That's an insanely quick lap. yeah, they're already kind of pulling away at that top 4 as a little group. They're a little coming together there between Kaizan and Magic Hook. Magic Hook just rejoined the racetrack back in 4th. That gives Kaizan a little bit of advantage. A little coming together, but that also, that gap to Toolshed in 4th just squeezes up a little bit, down to 1.6 seconds. There he is, Toolshed, the Australian driver, of course. 4 seconds back to Spider, who's under a bit of pressure now from Quentes. Is Quentes able to make his move? Quentes, of course, from the UK. Half a second back from Spider. If he can get close enough coming out of here, there could be a move before the bus stop, or if you're really, really brave, into the bus stop. But his exit just a little bit slower than Spider, not able to get that same kind of exit speed. Then we look at Chip Reese from the United States, 1.3 seconds back. He's certainly faring better in this restart than he did last time out in 8th place. 0.8 of a second he is ahead of Hannah, who is a second ahead of Average Viper, and Jay 4 seconds back. Now looking at, I can see the tyre choices, you lot can't. What I can tell you is there are 2 drivers that have started on the same strategy. Everybody else has started on a different strategy. I'm not going to tell you who, but at some stage it all will be revealed. There is your leader. He's not able to pull away. Fusek doing very well. Kaizan having a little look up the inside there into turn 1. Doesn't make it stick, but on they go. It is Fusek from Kaizan, from Mikhail, from Magical, and this is the view. You look from the back, that's what he can see coming behind him. That's what's going on in front of him. It's really, really solid, good, close racing. And that's the one thing we absolutely love about Daytona, is that the racing here is just so close that you wouldn't believe how close you can get on this track without touching, and how good this race can be. Fusek is holding on, but how long can he hold on for? Because he's giving up slipstream. He's doing all the work for these cars behind. They can save tyres, they can save fuel, they can give themselves a much easier time just tucked in behind him and let him put in all the effort. There's got to be a point at which he can either try and pull away from them or let someone else take up that mantle for a little while. So difficult when you're racing at a track like Daytona to stay in the lead for so long. We've seen it happen, of course we have. We saw Average Tom do it in the GTC, but it doesn't mean that it can be done every time. You know, you have to be so disciplined. You don't want to over push. You don't want to put too much stress through your tyres with fuel. You want to make sure that you've got enough to take you to do your strategy. Now we're looking at essentially somewhere around 34 laps for this race. So if you're running medium tyres, you're doing about 20, and then you're doing somewhere around 14 on the medium tyres. And that was Ben Jones' brother joined him by the looks of things. I don't know why it was quite so long for him to come in, but he's a bit late if he's a reserve because we're already underway. And that's what it's been looking like right the way up to turn 2 again. So Fusek leads this race, still 3/10 clear of Kaizan, but you can see that top 4 just pulling that gap away now. Now usually you would see 2 or 3 pull away, but the fact we've seen these 4 pull away just says to me that this is going to rage on right the way through. And what I can tell you is the top 4 are all on the same strategy. So no advantage given to any of them. There's nothing any of these guys can do to make it better. It's all about talent right here. Mikhail running in 3rd. Magic Cook running in 4th. 2 from the United States. 1 from Australia. 1 from Canada. That's your front 4. Then we go back 3 seconds almost back now to Toolshed. He is 7.5 seconds. He's found already what I like to call my own little niche of the racetrack. And you know, you're in a position. There's a yellow flag. Who is that a problem? That is Fusek. Fusek off the racetrack, facing the wrong direction. And Fusek, buddy, you can't park that there, son. He loses It's becoming a bit of a trademark. The thing is, it became a trademark, and now I have to say it. I can't not say it. That's the problem. So he was in the lead. He's about to lose 5th place and 6th place. So Average Viper through, Spider through. Fuser now back in 7th place. He lost it in the bus stop, and he's way back now in 7th. So all change out front. So now we've got 3 at the front of the pack. We've got Mikhail. He is 4 tenths clear of Kaizan, who's the same distance clear of Magic Cook. And now the gap back to Toolshed, 3.8 seconds. So much work now for them to do. And we were talking about Toolshed's little gap on the racetrack for himself, and he's still got that. Now, it's a twofold, it's a kind of double-edged sword, a kind of twofold thing. It can be quite lonely when you're in that position. And now that can either be a blessing, because you can just churn out your kind of consistent laps. You can see there on the right hand side that he's churning out very consistent laps there, and he's quite happy to do that. He doesn't have to worry. Look, he knows that the guys out front are absolutely racing each other. He hasn't got to worry about defending from behind. He hasn't got to worry about can he catch the guys in front. He's kind of found his little niche on the racetrack and can chuck in some good consistency. The only problem with it is that loneliness can breed complacency. And you can get into this kind of thing where you're not racing anybody, so you do something and you make can I make an extra little push here? Can I open up the gap from the guy behind to make it 10 seconds? Can I close to the guy in front and make it 3 seconds? And all of a sudden things are very, very different. And you know, all of a sudden you're making little mistakes, you're making little errors. But at the moment, Toolshed very comfortable doing what he's doing right there. Fuzerk has made his way back up into 5th place. He's got super duper pace, but you can see there just how much time he lost. Nearly 15 seconds on his standard lap time. In the bus stop he lost that time, so he's got a lot of work to do. 9 seconds to make up on Toolshed, and bearing in mind the pace that Toolshed's running at, it's going to take him quite a few laps to make that up, and that he'll be, and this is where you need to really keep your head. This is where you need to kind of, okay, I know I've made a mistake, don't be angry, just crack on and get on with it. Average Viper, he's made his way back up to 6th place. He had that coming together with Jay on lap 1, did the sportsman thing, and big applause for that, and pulled over, let Jay take that place, and back up into 10th, but since then has moved on, the HyPrix driver, 3.2 seconds behind Fuzerk, just a second up from the RWB driver Spider, who's running in, he's building his own kind of little thing on the racetrack, because let's face it, Viper is pulling away from him. So he's got his own little niche on that racetrack. 2.3 seconds back to Hannah, who's currently 5.4 ahead of Jay. So Jay's made his way up the order now into 9th place. He's got a bit of work to do to close up on Hannah there, but has just done his fastest lap of the race with a 46.5. So starting to pull out top 3 pace on a regular basis. And if he can continue to do that, certainly gives me a chance to move up the order. 4.3 seconds back, there's Chip Reese, 48.1, his fastest lap of the race. He's setting in the American driver. He's got Correntes 1.6 seconds behind him, who had an awful lap. Lap 3, you can see there, 2.04. That was an absolutely awful lap for him, which is why he is so far back. But just closing up. Fastest lap on the race so far, that's a 45.2. That's from Magic Cook, who's currently running in 3rd place. You can see him there. And the top 3 now really, really pull away from everybody else. This is 2 very distinct races. There is these guys, Kaizan, Mikhail, Magical, Banadow's Magical, looking up the inside. He makes the move on Mikhail, up into 2nd place. Kaizan leads now from Magical, who's made that move on Mikhail. He's been knocking on that door, and he's finally made that move, and the pace has just told its tale there, and he makes that beautiful little move up the inside as we come round for another go around the oval. Now what we're 13 minutes into this race, still got so much racing left to go. 34 laps is about what we're looking at, and we're on lap 8, and this is where we see Magic Cook. So why don't you call him, mate, you've got to change your name. I keep calling you Magic Cool, and it's going to be easier for you to change your name than it is for me to remember how to say it. I don't know why. I think it's from day one I called you Magic Cool, and it's kind of stuck that way. So do me a favour, if I send you a fiver, can you change your name to Magic Cool? By any chance? It would make my life so much easier. So Kaizan leads from Magic Cook. I need someone in chat to just shout, man. That's what I need. I need like a little earpiece in with, like you know when they're at the play and they've got people that are giving you your cues. And someone just shout Magic Cook into my ear every time I flick onto him. It's 7/10 back to Mikhail. We saw him make a great move on Mikhail to take that second place. But the top three still dominating this race quite well. 5.7 seconds ahead of the Lone Ranger. That's what I'm going to call him. Toolshed is the Lone Ranger at the moment. He's in such a unique position on this racetrack. He hasn't got to worry about battling anybody. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him there or thereabouts with that top three towards the end of the race, because he, and to be fair, he did allude to his error at Watkins Glen last week, which he's not going to make it into my D of the dailies. One, because it wasn't a daily, and two, because I just think it was a bit of a brain fart, mate. And you still didn't tell me why you did it. We still need to have that conversation, buddy. But I think he's definitely a potential shoo-in for the top three, and I'll tell you why. Because these top three were a top four, and they were battling, and they were pushing, and they were going hard. And Fuzerk, we saw, lost it in that battle. And it's just so easy for any of these three to do it. They're racing so close. They're racing so hard. It's not going to be difficult for a little mistake, a little slip. You know, a wheel on the grass that you didn't expect. A little bit too hot into a corner, and it all goes wrong. Whereas Toolshed's just sitting in there and comfortably churning out his laps. And it wouldn't be a surprise to me if he did make the top three. We can just see now where Magic Cook... I got it right that time. Way! Applause. Look at this, he's about to make the move on Kaizan. The American driver round, he's going up top. He's got the run on Kaizan, heading down to the start-finish line to complete lap 9. Is Magic Cook just edging it from Kaizan? Kaizan's going to have the inside line, though, into the braking zone, into turn 1. But Magic Cook, very brave on the brakes. He certainly considered going around the outside there, looking for the little undercut. Doesn't work, but he's tucked in behind. And tell you what, he is on fire at a minute. And Kaizan under significant pressure from Magic Cook. That's bringing Mikhail into it. But I'll tell you what, I think if Magic Cook makes his way around Kaizan, it could very well be the pace he's got. He's going to open up a little gap. But Kaizan doing a great job of just defending in the right places. Don't get me wrong, he's got pace. He's got good pace. But he's just making sure that those apexes are covered without dropping too much time. But the problem is, when you're in the lead for so long and you're defending for so long, you're taking so much more out of your tyres, so much more fuel you're using to make sure it's happening. When you're in a position like Magic Cook, when you're in a position like Mikhail, you can save a bit of fuel just tucked in behind. Stick yourself under that wing, you can lift and coast a little bit and still maintain the pace. And it will tell when it comes to the pit window and it comes time to put the fuel in. But Magic Cook is going to make the move again. They're heading up to the bus stop. But it takes a very brave man to make that move there. And he wasn't quite brave enough. He just lifts off, and that was a sensible move, because that could have gone horribly, horribly wrong. And I love this drone view we're getting from them. But let's get in behind. I want to get in behind this car and just watch this battle. We look behind. There's Mikhail. He just seemed to be getting dropped off the pace here. And here's the run. He's got the run on him. Can he make the move? Kaizan is just in a perfect position. But Magic Cook is looking for any way through. Again, Kaizan protects that inside line. Magic Cook around the outside. Is he looking for the undercut here? The undercut's not on for him. Kaizan just keeps that position. Not on that time. This racing is absolutely phenomenal from these guys. Let's have a run down for the back. Where's Chip Reese? There he is. He's 3.7 seconds behind Correntes. 47.8, his fastest lap. Correntes 4.4 seconds. He had a really bad lap on lap 3. Not so great on lap 7 either. A couple of little issues, which has just kept him off the pace for the British driver. He's sandwiched between two American drivers. There's Spider for RWB. Lap 9 wasn't kind to him. He lost some time there. He's 1.9 seconds behind our very own Jay, who's now crawling on the back of Hannah. Is there an opportunity to get through? Not a great place to overtake here unless you are very, very brave. As the quick time dilation takes us into night time here at Daytona. And I love racing in the dark. It's brilliant. It's great to watch. It changes the dynamic of the racetrack as well. Not so much here at Daytona because it's very well lit, so you can still see your brake points better. But there are some tracks where when it gets dark, you just kind of, your brake points change. Your the kind of the landscape changes, and obviously with the changeable weather, the track is always evolving. Does Jay get a good run out here to make a move on Hannah? He does. He gets a very good run out. Can he make this move before they move into the bus stop? Magic Cook's still not got that move done on Kaizan yet either. So we're starting to see a couple of cars starting to make some big moves forward and using their pace to do something with it. Into the bus stop, Jay's going to have to back out, can't make the move there. Just slowing the car down, getting it turned in. And there we go, out of the bus stop. Who can get the better exit? We're on board with Jay right now. Great exit from Jay. Already closing on Hannah. Is there an opportunity now? Get tucked in that slipstream. Going up through the gears. Can the move get ready? Look at the sparks. Look at those sparks just crawling out the back of Hannah's car. And he's getting so much closer. Tucked in with that slipstream. Is the move on? Which way does Hannah go? Left or right? Jay going up the inside. They're going to be side by side here going up into turn one. It's all going to be about breaking into this zone. Jay makes the move, but Hannah looking for that kind of switcheroo. Doesn't make it. The under braking. Hannah very close to the back, but Jay has made that move still. He's gone very wide. It does make it stick though and still goes through. So up into 7th for Jay. Next up the road, 12 seconds up. There's Average Viper. He is 5.8 seconds now off the back of Fuzak. Remember, Fuzak was leading this race. Significantly leading this race. Pulling along Kaizan and Mikhail and Magic Cook. All along with him, and Magic Cook has now lost that place to Mikhail. Mikhail regaining second place for Magic Cook, and Kaizan safely still in the lead of this race. But Average Viper 6.2 seconds behind Fuzak, who's not been able to, he's starting to close on Toolshed, but not the kind of pace you'd expect. He lost a lot of time. He lost 15 seconds in the bus stop on lap 5. It's going to take some time. If he's going to catch up to that front 4, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some patience, and it's going to take some significant effort. And I can tell you for nothing, I've watched this guy race Toolshed, not just here in the Porsche Cup, but also in the GTC, and he's no slouch. He will not, he won't just move over and let you through. If you want to overtake this guy, you're going to have to do it the right way, and you're going to have to be quick. 8.5 seconds is the difference between him, who is the best of the rest. There's a yellow flag. Who's had a mistake? There is a lot of smoke coming out of the Magic Cook, and that's a 5-second gap, so he is just getting back up to speed after an error. So big changes out front. Magic Cook at one stage was making huge moves on the back of Kaizan and almost take the lead of this race. Now he is 5.2 seconds back, and the 4-horse race became a 3-horse race, and it's now a 2-horse race with a 1.4 second gap. So Kaizan starting to assert his dominance here, and it just goes to show. And we see that Mikhail 1:45.6, great quick lap. Magic Cook 1:45.2, great lap. Toolshed 46.6, Fuzak 45.5. Kaizan's best lap was ages ago, and he's doing mid-45s on a regular basis. But one thing Kaizan has been doing is consistent, very consistent laps. Nothing more than half a second difference between one lap and the next, and putting the car in the right places. And that's what's really standing its stead here over everybody else. And he's built himself a nice 1.4 second gap. And I need to take a breath and have a drink because it has just been going crazy. So bear with me while I swig back some of my water. Just wow, that's all I gotta say. Wow, it's been a great race. So far, best race in the Porsche Cup. It's been close, it's been fire, and surprising considering it's been a smaller lobby. So we're at almost at the 25-minute mark. So we're starting to kind of knock on the door of the pit window for those on. So look, it is very possible there are some runners that can do soft here, and I'm looking at some of these tyres, and I think there are one or two drivers that can probably run this as a soft. Fuel-wise, there are some that have burnt more than others, I've got to tell you. But I think we're going to start to see in the next lap or two. I think lap 16 is probably when 15 to 16 is when we're going to start to see cars jumping into the pits and making some changes. So let's have a full rundown from the back. There's HyPrix. He's 6.0 seconds behind Spider. His fastest laps are 46.8, but he's suffering. And when I was talking about Kaizan at the front, you see the consistency with Kaizan. HyPrix has not had that consistency, and that has seemed to be the difference. In terms of pace, I mean, 46.8, he's not hugely that far off that of a midfield pace, but the consistency just hasn't been there. 5 seconds is the gap to Spider. Again, consistency has not been his friend. He's done, he can consistently do it at the sort of mid 47. We see that, I mean, he's done 47, 473, 483, 492, but then he's had vastly different laps. We've had a big 56, 7, 49, 3s. It's a bit up and down, but it's 1.9 seconds to Hannah, and credit to her. I mean, Hannah did a 3-hour charity event yesterday, which Black Flag were also involved in for ART to raise money for cancer, and I want to say thank you to everybody involved because we raised over £1,000. So great job to everyone, Squid and Hassel and Lancaster and Elite, and everyone involved in it, especially Lancaster and Elite. Hope you get better soon. But yeah, so involved in that, and that's a very tiring event yesterday. Good fun, but tiring. And she's putting in some great lap times here this evening. So hopefully rested between that. But we're looking at what? So pit window, lap 16's pit window, and I think we're going to see at least 2, maybe 3 cars coming in at the end of the next lap. There's Jay. He got his way past Hannah. He made his way past Spider up into 7th place. He's 14 seconds back now from Viper. That's the kind of next big step if he can make that jump. His fastest lap so far has been a 46.5, but he hasn't been able to recreate that. Again, a bit more consistency there, but needs to just up that pace a little bit in the Black Flag car. And do not want to be making screechy back ends like that either. Beautiful livery though. You should really praise the guy who made that car. I really shouldn't self-flagellate so much. Average Viper, our glorious host, who was if you want to find out, you can't find a better host if you want to have to restart the race. I'm only joking. I'm sorry, Tom. Sorry. And to be fair, Tom had an F1 race before this and did quite well in it as well. He only crashed. No, he didn't really. He actually finished. I think he finished both. He is 11. So he's found that kind of little niche that Toolshed had earlier. That kind of 11 seconds either side. It's quite comfortable. He's not got to worry about what's coming behind. Not got to worry about what's coming in front. Just kind of get on with his job. He's going to go on another lap. I imagine we'll see him pit in another lap or 2. 11 seconds up the road is Fuzak. This guy led and was very, very racy. But it just goes to show one little mistake and it's all gone Pete Tong. And he's back in 5th place now. No longer mixing it with those big boys out in front. As you would expect that you would have, well, I would expect to see him out there, especially with his practice and his qualifying pace. Toolshed is 1 second ahead of Fuzak, and he's still pretty comfortably. He's been in 4th since his race started and been comfortably there. I'm sure he didn't expect to be being chased down by. Sorry, he was in 5th for quite some time, but he's been comfortably outside that kind of top runners. But I don't think he expected to be chased down by Fuzak quite so aggressively. But this is where it's happening. 9 seconds up the road is Magic Cook. He has rejoined the front runners. He had dropped off a little bit. He had a really bad lap. It was a really bad lap. He had a bad lap on lap 12, bad lap on lap 13. It just took him off the pace a bit. But he's found that pace again and he's closed back up to the back of Mikel. Just within a second again. But that has given, with Mikel and Magic Cook not having the greatest kind of end to their first stint, Kaizan's just been able to open up that gap. 5.3 seconds. And I can tell you now, he's done a bit. He's in a position where I think he can probably soft this race. He's really looked after his tyres quite well, which is considering he'd been out of the lead. Now, at one stage, his tyres were looking ropey. There's the first pit of the race. That's Average Viper jumping in just before that half-hour mark on those soft compound tyres at the end of lap 16. Hannah jumping in as well. She's jumping in at the same time, lap 16. I think the next one's going to be lap 17. We can have 2 or 3 jumping in then. I got a message just checking it's not important. It's not super important. Right, so as we hit the pit window, we'll have a quick rundown for everyone on tyres, shall we? Let's do that. So here we go. There's Kaizan. He's running very well out in the lead on those soft compound tyres. I think he can soft this race, in all honesty. He's only got to hold out for another lap and he can do another half hour on a fresh set. He can probably go 2 or 3. Mikhail, similar position to Kaizan, probably got another lap in him, but now Magic Hook coming up behind him. Again, he's in a similar position. The top 3, not much difference on tyres. Out of the 3, probably Mikhail doing slightly worse, but it's much for a muchness, and all 3 of these will easily run soft as the 2 stints. There's Fuzerk, similar position to those guys out in front. He has now got around Toolshed, a little bit more wear on his rear right tyre, you'll see. But again, once you pass this half-hour mark, you know you can run that same again on the same tyres. So I think it's going to be very difficult for those guys to be caught because they can run a double soft stint. Toolshed coming into the pits, he's on those soft compound tyres. If he's made it to the half-hour mark on the softs, he can make it to the end on another set of softs. Jay running on those medium tyres. It's going to mean he can run much longer into this race than everybody else has done. He's going to get past him. I don't know how close he is to Toolshed. He is past Toolshed now, who's in the pits. So he will go through. He'll gain a place up into 5th place. He will still need to pit. And I imagine when he does pit, he'll go onto the soft compound tyre. There's Spider running. He's also on the medium tyres. I'm actually questioning whether he even needs to change tyres at all. I think him and Jay are both going to be on the same strategy where they're going to come in when the fuel's gone and then just change their tyres then, because that's when they'll need to. Toolshed comes out. He comes out in 7th place. So Jay and Spider gain a couple of positions. Chip Reese is still on those soft tyres. He's got loads of tyre left. Loads of tyre left as Chip Reese. And he can run soft in this as well. I'm very surprised, actually. Average Viper's coming back out on the softs. He's going to have to look after him a little bit at the end of this stint. But he's doing soft as well, as is Hannah and Correntes. He's just changed to the medium tyres. He's going to go to the end on the medium. So there is a full tyre rundown. That's all you guys are going to get. No more knowledge for you. So you have to remember. I'm keeping the rest of it secret. Fuel, as we say, is not a problem. Never really been an issue. But Kaizan has just opened that gap up now to 6.2 seconds. As Fuzerk from 4th place into the pits. Here he comes. He's going to change it. He's going to put on soft compound tyres and run to the end. Magic Hook, is he looking at another move on Mikhail as he starts to close back in? His pit window is closely, or in fact the pit window for everybody is approaching. Once they pass the half-hour mark, you could do the same as you did in the first half again. It's really about who looks after their fuel the best. Mikhail under significant pressure from Magic Hook at the moment. He's trying to find that way through. He's coming up the inside. This is a crazy place to try and make the move. Come out of the turn with a better slipstream. That's how you make the move there. There's no point trying to chuck it up the inside. You get a better exit. And he did get a slightly better exit as he's closing up. But I don't think it's going to be enough to make the move. And I wouldn't make the move going into the bus stop. Chip Reese into the pits as well. Here we go down to the bus stop. Very, very quick coming out there. He's going to go around the outside, his Magic Hook, into this bus stop. I tell you what, if he makes this stick here, this is balls of steel. My God, it's far too hot. Far too hot. I did think it was a bit of a crazy move. It didn't make it stick. And he's cost himself 3.5, 4.5, 5 seconds making that move there. For me, you've got to get the braking done. If you're going to make that move, you've got to get the braking done into that bus stop, because he's overcooked it now, and that's cost him significant time. So sometimes it's about being patient and picking your move. There's no harm in going an extra lap behind. If you know you're quicker, there's no harm in just dropping off and going in behind and waiting. Those two are in. Kaizan stays out. This gap is going to be massive, and he will be coming in. If he doesn't come in at the end of this lap, he'll certainly be coming in at the end of the next. But he's in a really, really good position, Kaizan, and it looks like he's going to be opening his lead at the top of the championship. Now, I'm sure these guys in Division 3 will be hoping, and nothing against Kaizan, I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but they'll be wanting him to move up to Division 2 if a space arises. So hopefully there is some movement for these guys, so they can, because basically Kaizan is dominating. Where HPR was dominating before he moved up to Division 2, Kaizan just picked up that mantle and said, I'll take this from you, sire, and I will now be the lead knight. And here he is, and he is actually coming up behind, I think, Chip Reese. That is Chip Reese ahead of him, isn't it? Yeah, it's Chip Reese ahead of him. So here we are on lap 20 of what I think is going to be about 30, well, I said 34, but I'm thinking we might be close to 38 or 39, you know, here tonight. So, Spider into the pits. He's changing out those medium compound tyres after lap 20. Who's in next? Where is... So, Jay's up to 4th place on those medium tyres. He has got Toolshed tucked in very tightly behind him. Toolshed, of course, has already pit, as has Magic Cook, who's tucked in behind him. How long are they be held up behind Jay? Are they going to be held up behind Jay? We see Toolshed's making that move. They are side by side. Jay's under no obligation to give that up. He's not going to give it up. But Toolshed just on those faster tyres, just that better traction, that inside line, is just going to take that position there. So Kaizan finally into the pits. 47 seconds is the gap to Mikhail. It's just not going to be enough. Mikhail just coming round into the final oval. So he is not... I'll be very surprised if Kaizan doesn't come out in the lead of this race. Very surprised. But it looks like he might do, because there's Kaizan still there. So Mikhail is coming round now. I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to call this now. I'm not going to show you what the fuel is. I think there are... at least 3 drivers out there that have not put enough fuel on to get to the end of the race without significant fuel saving. Absolutely. In fact, more than that. Let's have a look. I'm going to go for everybody and make my call. Let's wait and see what Jay puts on first before I make a judgment. Okay. I don't think Jay's going to underfuel it, because he's known for overfueling. I can tell you now, there's at least 3 drivers on this racetrack that if they do not fuel save, they will not make it to the end. Absolutely, without question, they won't make it to the end. It's going to be very, very difficult. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It would be unfair, because I know there's going to be 2 or 3 of the drivers listening, which is why I'm not going to tell you. But rest assured, there are people out there who are in with a chance they don't think they are. Kaizan did end up in the lead, 6.6 seconds he leads from Mikhail. It would take a monumental cock-up at this stage for Mikhail to get this, for Kaizan to get this wrong. But it's possible. It only takes a wheel on the grass. It only takes missing your braking point, going a little bit wide, grabbing some gravel to make that. But at the moment, he's just been so consistent, so solid, lap after lap. For him to get this wrong now, I mean, for firstly, it'd be devastating for him. Not necessarily devastating for us as an audience, because, not that we wish it on anybody, but we secretly like it when they cock up, because it makes good entertainment. But at the moment, I can't see past Kaizan to win this race. He's just been so solid. Mikhail is 6.9 seconds back in second place, the American driver. He is now that gap. Now Magic Cook, Mikel and Kazan were the top three. Fuso, we saw him have that error. We saw him move all the way back down the order. He has, in the pit stop, got himself back into that top three. He's 8.2 seconds, the Canadian, back from Mikel in that top three. So it has opened right out. But, importantly, he's jumped Magic Cook, as has Toolshed. Toolshed only 2 seconds back from Fusak. And he's capable certainly of putting in quick laps. He's putting a 1:46.0. His fastest lap of the race, while he's under some pressure from Magic Cook. And the thing about Magic Cook that we have seen already in this race is that he can pull out the fastest lap of the race, which he currently has with a 1:45.2. But he could also, he's got a massive error in him when he just loses that thought process and makes the wrong move and makes that little mistake. But certainly super quick. And I don't know what I'm talking about. He's quicker than me, even when I don't make mistakes. He's making that move on Toolshed now, up into 4th place. He's got that inside line. Toolshed goes high, Magic Cook goes low, and he moves up into 4th place. But does it stick going into turn 1? I think it will. He's got that line. He just needs to get his braking right. Does tuck in there in front of Toolshed. Gets the braking right, and up he goes into 4th place. 2.7 seconds gap to Fusak. Toolshed certainly looking a lot brighter than it was when he had his little no man's land incident being on his own. He's a lot closer now to those front runners. 12.5 seconds is his gap back to average Viper. And you know, when you talk about average, 6th place in a race of 11 drivers, you can't get much more average than that. We've had I don't know why these drivers keep jumping in, jumping out. They can't race. If you want to watch it, there's a perfectly good stream here for you to watch it on. I will send you what you need to know and talk you through it. And I'll blast off the old vape there. So, average Viper properly in his own part of the racetrack. There is nobody 2 turns ahead. There is nobody 2 turns behind. It's just the average Viper and the open road right now in the dark here at Daytona. But the thing is, it's not really dark. The sky above might be, but the racetrack is lit up like a Christmas tree on Christmas morning. 28 seconds is the gap back to Spider. There he is running in 7th place from RWB. 1.4 seconds clear at the moment of Jay. He's just literally got himself ahead of Correntes and pulling away from him already. Does he have the run on him, Correntes? Can he get in that place back? As they come out of the infield section, he does get a little bit of a run. He is closing that gap. Does he close it enough to make the move for the bus stop? I don't think so. Jay, 1.3 seconds. He's got the run on Spider. Correntes got the run on him. Hannah, 4 seconds back from this battle. As we're looking at the battle between Correntes and Jay, the 2 British drivers. We've got 3 British drivers actually sandwiched between Spider from the US and Chip Reese from the US. But at the moment, no British drivers flying the flag in that top 3, and it makes me sad as a British commentator, of course. You kind of want to root for your countrymen. But, you know, it is what it is. And when you've got drivers like Kazan from Australia, you've got Mikel from the United States, and Fusak from Canada, and then we know Magic Cook just from behind from the United States as well. From Australia being... where is Magic Cook? Where is he gone? Where's Magic Cook? Right, there he is. From the United States. We know, look, they're really, really good guys, and really, really quick. And that gap, Jay has closed that gap already to 9/10 of a second, pulling away from Correntes, opening that gap right out. Not able to make a move on Spider just yet, but maybe getting that a little bit closer. There is Hannah running in the 10th place, 6.2 seconds behind Correntes. Fastest lap was a 1:46.8. It just goes to show the difference in pace, actually, because I say difference in pace. It's only 1.6 seconds between the fastest person on the track and Hannah, who's running in 10th. So, in terms of overall pace, consistency seems to be the thing that matters most, because pace-wise doesn't seem to have as much effect. Yeah, of course, if you're quicker consistently, you're gonna win the race. But if you can do quick laps, but you can't be consistent, it does cost you. And at the moment, Hannah is dropping into the clutches of Chip Reese, the American driver, who, bar the last lap, has shown a little bit more consistency. And I love that view when them sparks just fly out. It really gives the sense of speed and power and that kind of the violence of. And let's face it, I mean, what goes on inside an engine when they're racing at these kinds of speeds is nothing short of a Big Bang style violence. You think about what happened during the Big Bang when the Earth and the world was created, and the kind of violent forces required to create that. It's not too far off what happens inside an engine to make it go from not moving at all to driving at 150 mile an hour, 160 mile an hour around the corner, but being under complete control as well. That's, I mean, it's violence and beauty in equal measures. Kaizen, the gap is still pretty good, 5.4 seconds, closing a little bit. Mikel is just kind of closing up that gap, but you know, Kaizen's in a really good position because all he has to do is kind of manage that pace and just has to kind of just keep an eye on it. Now, you don't want to be pushing crazy hard and taking chunks out your tyres and taking chunks out your fuel. You want to make sure you can make it to the end of the race. And there's 15 minutes left. At the moment, looking okay to the end of the race. Lap 26 we're on now. 15 minutes left. That will give us about... I said lap 34, didn't I? I think I'm still about right for that, actually. I don't think I was that far off. Yeah, so, you know, all you need to do, when you're in this position now, you know you've got a 5-second lead. You know you're lapping at pretty decent pace. You can afford, or I say you can afford to drop off, as he puts in a purple sector, of course. But you can afford to kind of drop off and just manage that pace and make sure, you know, if it does drop below 5 seconds, okay, we just need to up it a little bit. When it goes back above 5 seconds, just drop off a little bit. Make sure that if anything goes wrong, or the guy behind just starts a charge forward, that you've got something in the tank for the end. But Kaizen doesn't care. Kaizen's only interested in purple. Purple for me. Magic Cook, by the way, there he is. His last lap was a 1:44.8. Now, I want you to put that into perspective. I want you to watch Division 2, Division 1 and Division 2 tomorrow. And I want you to put that lap in perspective when you consider this is Division 3 and he's running in 4th place. Because there aren't going to be many people in Division 1 and Division 2 that chuck in that kind of lap. Certainly not on a consistent basis. And that will demonstrate just how close in terms of pace that these 3 divisions are. And you know, when you say, oh, you had so many people enter for the Porsche Cup, and you know you didn't have enough place. It's unprecedented just how close everybody is, and that's why the qualification process is so important. Is because it rewarded consistency over pace, because there were so many different races. It really did reward consistency over pace, and then as people dropped out and people move up the divisions, then pace gets rewarded over consistency. So yeah, it matters. Of course, pace matters, but I think I think divisions have been sorted out in the right way, and I think the people have moved up rightly. And I think when the positions come up, Kaizen will move up, Mikel will move up, maybe even Fuzak will move up into Division 2. Bear in mind, Fuzak I think came off of the reserve list as well to make it into here. So what are we looking at here? Let's have a full rundown, because we've got just over a quarter of the race left, just under a quarter of the race left. Lap 27 we're at here. This is the HyPrix GT Champions Porsche Cup. We are on round 4 of 6. It's Division 3 at Daytona in the Porsche 911. There is your leader, Kaizen TY98 from Australia. He is just under 6 seconds clear. 45.0 was his last lap. He is those 5 forward, he's 6 seconds clear of Mikel of the United States. 7.4 seconds he holds. He's just done his fastest sector so far there. 7.5 seconds clear of Fuzak. And just to demonstrate how races can change, Fuzak led this race, then he lost it, then he was 7th, now he's 3rd. Canadian driver, 7.5 seconds behind Mikel. He is just 1.5 seconds clear of the fastest thing on four wheels tonight. That is Magic Hook. He has gone, well, as we say that, as Fuzerk beats that lap time with a 1:44.7. These lap times are quicker than we were in qualifying. Quicker than qualifying. And as the daylight starts to return to Daytona, we are approaching the end of this race, the last 10 minutes. There's your top four. They've been the same top four for the entire race. They may have changed positions, but they've been the top four. Fuzerk did lead for ages. Now it's Kaizan. Magic Hook in fourth place. Toolshed 6.8 seconds back. For a while, it looked like he was going to catch up to that top four. Now, not so much. But he's been very, very comfortably just outside. He has been very comfortably what they would call the best of the rest. 7 seconds back from Magic Hook. 12.2 seconds, the Australian driver Toolshed from Average Viper. Still need Toolshed to explain to me what he was thinking at Watkins Glen last week and why he felt he should bang his head against the wall and cost himself a top three. But maybe one day I'll get my answer. Average Viper, our glorious host, 12.8 seconds back, 12.9 seconds back from Toolshed. He's been racing for hours this evening, F1 before this. Now running in 6th place, 34 seconds clear of my very own, our very own J49. J is my number 2 black flag, if anyone was interested. Of the kind of number 2, but of the race operations side of things. And genuinely, I couldn't do this shit without him. Couldn't do it without him. Language. I couldn't do it without him. He's an integral part of the team. And running well in 7th place at the minute, 34 seconds back from Viper, 1.4 ahead of Spider from RWB and the United States, with one of the prettiest cars on that racetrack. His fastest lap was lap 25, 1:47.0, and it just looked. I'm not sure if I prefer Daytona. I think I prefer Daytona in the dark when you've got those lights shining down on the track and the stars in the sky, that kind of thing. And it is somewhere I want to visit. I want to get the opportunity one day to go to Daytona. I've been to some brilliant racetracks over my life. I've been to obviously a lot of UK tracks, Snetterton and Wilson Park and all those kind of things, and Silverstone. I've been to Newbury, I've been to quite a few others. I've been to Monaco. Look, to go to Monaco, it's pretty cool. The Grand Prix itself is pretty rubbish, and I will always say that I don't think Grand Prix is any place in Monaco. When you're actually there, it's pretty special, to be fair. But it's only really special for the people there. I don't think it's that special for the drivers or the people watching on TV. But there we go. But yeah, I mean, Daytona is on my list of tracks I would love to go to, just to see that kind of balls out racing that you kind of associate with an iconic track like Daytona. And Daytona is up there with the Monzas and your Spas and those kind of really, and the Bathurst, those really iconic tracks. You ask someone about a racetrack, it's the track you immediately think of. I mean, one of the first racing games I ever played was the Daytona game on the Sega Mega Drive. So it's always going to be kind of there and in the fondest of my mind. But anyway, back to the racing. There's Spider. He's running in 8th place, 2.3 seconds back to Cruentis, who is from the sunny shores of Great Britain. Sunny at all. It's freezing and muggy and moody and horrible. Not muggy at all. 8.9 seconds back to Hannah, also from the United States, from the ISO Racing team. And then Chip Reese, bit of resurgence for Chip. He's been at the back for most of the race, but he's just starting now to put some pressure on the back of Hannah. Now, did he keep something in the tank? It looks like he did, because he's a lot closer to the back of her car right now, and that's only 7/10 of a second. Could we see some changes at the back of the pack? And we'll keep an eye on that, because there's certainly time to do it. 7 minutes left, lap 29 of what I think will be lap 30 now, of what I think will be 34, maybe 35 laps maybe. So Kaizan leads. Kaizan of Australia leads by 6 seconds from Mikhail 24 of United States. I'm not sure that's what the RD meant, but I'm going with it anyway. AMS Mikel 24 of the United States. He is 6 seconds behind Kaizen and 6 seconds ahead of Fuser of Canada. It's not all plain sailing for Fuser. He might have that fastest lap with a 1:44.7. That might be quicker than anything done in qualifying. But his teammate, Magic Cook, you don't have to change your name anymore. I've got it right now. I think I've got it down. From the United States, is only 7/10 behind him. And there is no way, absolutely no way, he's going to let him go. He's going to let him just pull away. And I think I can tell you now, as you can see by the fact that Fuser is losing time, he was one of those, I think, slightly underfueled at the pit stop. And that's why Magic Cook is able to catch him. He's just been able to kind of take chunks out of that time. Because Fuser is thinking about his fuel right now. I don't know how I don't lose my voice doing this. 5, 6, 7 nights a week. It's ridiculous. 12 seconds back to Toolshed from the sunny shores of Australia, who are right in the middle of their summer now. Well, we're in the middle of winter. 12 and 12 either side. Average Viper, 35 ahead of Jay, half a second ahead of Spider, 2.4 ahead of Correntes, 10.8 ahead of Hannah, and Chip Reese didn't make that move, and is now 7.6 behind. Clearly had some sort of issue because he was a lot closer for a very short while. Don't know what happened there. So Magic Cook is... So as soon as I move off him, he makes the move. Magic Cook has made that move on Fusak up into the top 3. I thought he was starting to back off, but apparently not. So there we go. That was the deliberate act of... Let's wait till Herb's talking about someone else, and I will. I'll make this little sneaky overtake. So it's Kaizen from Mikhail. Magic Cook makes the move on Fusak. Now, can Fusak make a move back? I'm going to tell you honestly, I don't think he's got enough oomph left in the tank to make that move. In fact, I'm going to make a prediction here that if he's going to need to either pit or risk, he might. Look, Toolshed might be in a position here. Toolshed has fueled well, and he's running relatively decently. The gap is currently 12 seconds. If he doesn't nick fourth, it's going to be a lot closer than 12 seconds by the end of this race. Viper was a bit concerned he'd underfueled at one stage, but now I think he's doing alright. He's looked after it quite well. Tyres looking good, fuel looking good. Spider, brilliant position to the end of this race. In fact, he's got so much left on his tyres, he probably could have stopped a lot earlier than he did. Same goes for Jay. I think that there is a lot more on those racing soft tyres than they've given themselves credit for with the last kind of 5 minutes going of this race. Cruentes, there he is. He is on the... He's actually fishing on medium compound tyres. And I think he might be under a bit of pressure from Hannah on the soft tyres. In the last couple of laps of this race, Chip Reese, 6.4 behind. He's just getting dropped now by Hannah, not being able to do anything about it. But there we go, it is what it is. But still big points up in 11th place. So there's your leader, Kaizen, 5.5 seconds clear and cruising. Absolutely cruising here, just starting lap 33. Here comes Mikhail. He's going to cross the line. He'll start lap 33. And again, he's doing really well, 6.8 seconds clear of Magic Cook. And I said it wasn't going to go well for Fusak, and it's already proven to be that case. Magic Cook comfortably now in that top 3. He's not going to close on Mikhail at this stage, but unless he makes a mistake, he's going to be comfortably in 3rd. Fusak dropping ever so quickly into the loving arms of Toolshed, and I really think Toolshed is going to be able to nick a top 4 space here without even really trying. He's just got to keep the car on the road, but so has everybody else, of course. 12 seconds back to Viper, 35 to Jay, Spider, sorry, 2 seconds to Jay. Is Jay going to catch Spider? He's certainly looking like he's closing the gap. Just done his best sector of the race. Only a couple of laps left, so he's going to have to, if he's going to do it, now is the time to do it. Correntes in 9th, 12.2 seconds back. Then Hannah, then Chip Reese. But this is the battle we've got to watch because Toolshed is closing this gap rapidly. His last 3 laps, 47.1, 47.2 in the last 3 laps. Fuzak, 50.6, 47.1 and a 45.4. So he's his fastest lap of the race is a 44.7. That point is very well deserved. It's touch and go if he makes it to the end of this race right now without stopping or without being caught by the onrushing Toolshed. And we can see there the gap is opening up again now. I don't quite know why Toolshed's not able to put the hammer down, unless of course he's made a mistake. And if he has made a mistake, then Fuzek might just be safe. But keep your eyes on this, folks, because this is not done. Right, so here we go. This will be the last lap of the race. We will go on board with Kaizan and just watch how he finishes off into this infield section. And all he's got to do is bring this home. And he's been very, very dominant for all of the good work that Fuzek did for the first few laps. As soon as Kaizan took the lead of this race, nothing has changed. He has been out in front from the moment he got there. And absolutely full-on dominant. Absolutely dominant. So I'm just reading messages from the boss. There will be a graphic for me for the end for the where everyone finishes, of course. But yeah, Kaizan fully dominant and no question, absolutely deserves this. If you can take the lead in a race this long and keep the lead even through the pit stops, come out ahead, then there's no question that you deserve to be there. And fastest lap or not, which yeah, and let's face it, he hasn't gone below a 145. Magic Cook and Fuser both have gone sub 45. Have both done quicker laps, but it's not been super dominant. But he will come round, and he's just going to finish this race now in the lead quite significantly. Spider's finished. Jay couldn't catch him, finishing 9th in the end. Here comes Kaizan. He's going to cross the line very, very soon as the winner here at round 4 at Daytona. Mikhail comes home in second, 6.2 behind. Magic Cook just 4.7 behind Mikhail. Good finish. Now 14 seconds back is Fuzerk. It is 2.6 for Toolshed. Does Fuzerk make it to the line? I think there's just enough there. The gap is closing. But I think he's got enough unless he runs out now. I think he's got enough to make it. He does make it across the line in 4th. Toolshed in 5th. But my God, I'm telling you now, Fuzerk had a big squeaky bum time there. Average Viper will bring it home in 6th place. Boom Shankar, there he comes. And across the line in a nice spinny fashion. What a way to show off. A little bit of HyPrix showing off there. There we go, look. HyPrix showing off for everybody else. Spider home in 7th place. Jay, our very own Black Flag Jay, there we go. Hello, Black Flag Racing. Comes home in 8th place. I think he'll be disappointed. No two ways about it. That little knock from Average Viper in turn 1 wouldn't have helped. But Average Viper did the right thing. He pulled over, he let him through. Correntes in 9th place. Hannah in 10th place, 3.9 seconds back. And Chip Reese brings us home in 11th. Still getting the blue flag warning, even though the race has finished. What a race. How about that then? How about that? So, I need to get some drivers to have a little chat with me about the end of this race. So I'm going to need Kaizan, Mikhail, Magic Cook, all to come and join me in the lobby. We'll have a nice little chat. 2 Americans, 1 Australian. Just threw my mouse on the floor like an absolute nutter. I'm going to have to fall down the floor and get it because it's all right to the left corner. Just my luck. Hold the line corner. There we go. That's back. Right, I'm going to go and find some drivers, and I will see you very soon with some drivers to talk to. So just waiting for these drivers to come and join me. I'm in there already, of course. I've got some new headphones and they're a bit of a weird shape. And I think I've been so used to the other headphones on my head that these have just not been quite so great. Right, I've got some graphics to download. Give me a second. As you know, I can't multitask very well. Save. Right. Talk amongst yourselves while I wait for these guys to come and join me.
How's it going, mate?
Hello, how we doing?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How'd you find that then? Good race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very close. You know, I'm a bit worried about the little incident I had with Fuse at the bus stop and one early on the race. It just the screen lagged a little bit on me, in my opinion. But you know, we'll see what the stewards has to say.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether he was caught or whether he whether he had a mistake because I didn't actually catch the incident. So obviously, I think everyone will look at the replay and we'll find out. It must have been so frustrating because the race got started and then it was quite clear early on that there was an issue with the damage model, and everyone was a bit unsure of what to do. And then of course the boss man says, right, let's get it restarted, which we had to do. So you kind of have to change your mindset, don't you? Because you're kind of there and you're out there and you're getting it done, and then right, okay, we have to start all over again and make sure we get it right again.
Yeah, look, it's a bit frustrating when stuff gets delayed, but you know, I've got to gave me extra time to take a deep breath, worry about what my job was going to do, and kept it on the track. That's what I did.
To be fair, once you took the lead, nothing changed. That was it. You were in the lead for the rest of it, even through the pit stops, everything. You absolutely had that fully in control.
Yeah.
One thing I will say,
Sorry?
you never went below 145. And there were a couple out there that did go. I mean, super, super, super quick times. 145.7, 145.5. But you just did consistent laps, and you were quite good at managing that gap, weren't you?
Yeah, look. My goal on the racetrack is not go for a quality lap every single lap. It's all about keeping the car on the track, staying consistent, because the consistent laps was really going to determine if you're going to win the race or lose the race.
No, absolutely. I think your race was flawless today. It was just one of those where there's the commentator in me that wants something to go wrong, so I've got something to talk about, and it just didn't really happen for you.
Yeah, look, it's just my job was to stay consistent at the end of the day, and it worked. And even going into my pit window, I was originally going to pit a lot earlier, but I realised I'm not losing too much time on the worn tyre, so I stayed out for an extra couple of laps, and that's what really did it for me.
No, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I didn't expect it to be soft in this group, to be fair. I thought that it might be a bit of a struggle because a lot of people started on, a few people started on mediums, but you did manage them quite well in that first stint. I will say though, there were a few of you that I thought underfueled in that pit stop, and there was a bit of concern that there might be a struggle, and that's a brilliant segue into. I'm going to skip Mikhail and finish in a second, and I'm going to jump straight to you, Magic Cook. You there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that little underfueling from Fuelzer kind of helped you out a little bit, didn't it?
It did. I was definitely able to catch up some.
So, I mean, you put in some blistering laps early on. You were chucking in 44s when people were still doing 46s. But one thing I noticed is you tended to have these kind of moments where you went from brilliance to, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that.
Yeah, consistency has kind of always been my my struggle. Daytona is a track I've driven a lot of miles on, so I'm very comfortable with it. But just that consistency is what I struggle on.
So you had that wobble early on. So the top four of you all went out and you kind of took control in the before the restart as well. You did it, and then after the restart you went and did it again. but then you had that wobble and you kind of dropped back, and then especially after the pitch, you were way back and way down from everybody else. Was that point you were thinking, what do I do? How do I do this? Or were you always confident you were going to get back up there?
I was confident I was going to get back up there. I just kept telling myself to stay calm and, put in laps that I knew I could do. Just try to, like I said, stay calm.
No, it was a very good race from you all round. Mikhail,
what's up?
Second place the whole time. You had a good battle. There was a moment when I thought you and Magic Hook might have a coming together. You were pretty close a couple of times, but you just seemed so. I think there was a point, I think, in the race where you resigned yourself to the fact you weren't going to catch Kaizan, but you kind of just said, right, well, I'm going to be second, and there's no one that is going to change this for me.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was basically trying to catch Kaizan the whole way, to be honest. Even at the end, I was trying to get, some, good laps in until I got a little bit too aggressive and had to, settle for second. But, yeah, I was just trying to, hold on as much as I can, trying to battle it out. I'm not even trying to, slow it up. I just want to go, make sure I'd use the lines to defend and all that. I don't know what happened when I was racing with Magic. I really hope I didn't hit him or at any of the moments, especially after when he spun out. I don't know what it looks like there, but yeah, we were just dog fighting the whole time. And the fact that him and his other teammate, they were just helping each other to catch me and Kaizan, it made us a bit worried, to say the least, because if we screw up at any point, we spin out the bus stop, we crash at turn one, we spin out the horseshoe, we just get screwed. So yeah, it was pretty close. I give props to those two guys.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to watch. It was awesome for me to watch, just kind of see that the kind of how the dynamic changed. You could see that there was a stage where you had kind of Magical and Fuse that were kind of doing that thing. They were working together to try and catch you two, but you just seemed so calm the whole way through.
Actually, I wasn't even calm. I was actually very, very scared because those two guys, because of their, the one thing that we probably almost forgot about the whole race was drafting. We could be consistent. We could be, clean and all that. But when you have two cars, locked on, NASCAR style, you're bound to get catched up pretty quickly. And, yeah, I was a bit worried to admit because, yeah, that was very good teamwork for those guys. I mean, happy that the number 99 Apex car got second, second race in a row, and a pretty good 2 weeks, I would say. But yeah, that was a bit worrying, to be honest, the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will tell you, I mean, I do the broadcast, as you may know, for Division 2 as well. And I've got to say, the difference between you guys at the top of Division 3 and the races in Division 2, there's really nothing to separate you. And I think that's one of the things about the Porsche Cup that stands out for me, is that you could take you guys racing in Division 3, put you straight in Division 2, and it would be the same kind of battles going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I mean, if me, Kaizen, Magicook or Viper, those guys, if we could get to the speed we wanted, I think we would have all gone to Division 2, to be honest. It was pretty, but it was pretty intense, though. Even if in a low division, there's always going to be, some upset that's going to happen, and we always had to keep that in mind during the race, because otherwise, if you just be cocky about it, thinking that you're hell fast, and the next moment you're just eating the tires, you kind of kick yourself for probably not only the rest of the week, but probably forever in your in a sim racing career. So, I mean, the rest of the Division 3 guys, they're fast. They're going to learn and be fast. I would not be surprised if any of these guys climb up in maybe 6 months. 3 months, maybe next World Cup when GTC comes out around. I mean, everyone's excited about that. So yeah. Really everyone has.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how competitive Division 3 actually is. I thought I was going to come in and I'm going to dominate, win by 30 seconds every race, but the guys are really close to each other, eh?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the fastest lap to the fastest lap for you guys out front and the fastest lap to the guys out back, it's only about 1.8 seconds difference. And I mean, 1.8 seconds sounds like a lot, but it's not really. In terms of GT7, in most of the races where you go into, whether it be league races like this or daily races, 1.8 seconds between the first and the last as fastest laps is really, really close field.
Yeah, I agree. I think we all agree on that. And also, it kind of feels like that whole front race, the whole front like battle, like top four, it feels like it was the green cars versus the Icer guys. I hope you guys are two were the same team. If not, I apologize, Magic. But it feels like
it was a really good race in the top four as well. It was really hotly contested. Like the Icer guys, like especially yourself, Magic and Fuser, you guys were just really giving me headaches. No, I respect that hard.
Yeah,
I was just trying to stay in your rearview mirror and try to work with Fuzerk as much as we can until he kind of fell off there, but it was still a great race.
Yeah, it was awesome racing. Honestly, that bus stop was really my biggest pain because I was losing at least half a second because I'm still trying to get used to that bus stop, especially in MR cars. Because if I go too aggressive in there, I'll just spin out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's not called the bus stop; it's called the Le Mans chicane.
So I'm Aussie. I don't know most of the American tracks until racing in this league. So
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just messing around. It's the bus
it's all good.
I love it when people get corrected. It just makes me smile.
Yeah, but when it comes to Bathurst, I know every corner on the track. So
I love that.
Fair enough.
Bathurst, talking of Bathurst, it's one of my favourite tracks. I absolutely love it. Love Bathurst.
I mean, but I want to point out though that I want to point out that the Icer guys are just like that's probably one of the most intense races I've ever done in GTC. Probably the most intense podium that I'll ever probably get. I mean, depending on how I look at the race. I mean, it was just close. It was all close. It wasn't going to end until the checker flag. Respect to everyone. Like, it was, despite the red flag, it was still a pretty fun race. And I wonder how Division 2 and 1 are going to feel when they race, because it's got to be, how can I say, emotional? Yeah, probably emotional.
Well, I mean, I've seen every race so far. And I've got to say, this has been my favourite one so far out of every division, every race. This one has been brilliant. Absolutely action from minute 1 to minute 60. Brilliant stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Not only for the racing, but for the chat afterwards as well. It's very entertaining. And I'll tell you what, I hope... There's a little piece of me that wants to see you in Division 2, but there's also a little piece of me that wants to see you three, with Fuzerk as well, going at it again next week.
Yeah, top is going to be a very strong challenge too, especially if there's rain too. So that when it's raining, it's absolutely slippery on that track.
Yeah, very, very slippery. But listen, guys, thank you so much. Great racing, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Right. Congrats on the win.
Cheers. There we have it, folks. There were your top three. As you can see, you've got a lot of respect for each other. You can see that. But Kaizan wins out there. Is your result from that race. Kaizan wins from Macau. Magic Cook comes in third place. Fuzerk, he may have come in fourth, but pole position and fastest lap for him. And two Icer guys in the top 5 this time out. Toolshed just missed out in 5th place. Average Viper home in 6th. Jay, our very own Jay, got to give a bit of applause, Black Flag guy, of course, in 10th place. Spider in 8th, Correntes in 9th, Hannah in 10th, Chip Reese comes home in 11th place. Shame we couldn't fill up with a couple of other drivers, but of course that is where we stand. They are, of course, the unofficial results from the end of today. The unofficial standings are there, I think. Yeah, they are. There we go. Kaizan leads the way with 64 points. Macau in behind with 57. Average Viper stays up there in the top 3 with 54 points. Toolshed kind of cements that top 4 with a 49. Fuzerk after that performance up to 5th place, 47 points. Spider with 36. Magic Cook. Call him Magic Cool again, didn't I? Magic Cook. Dude, you've got to change your name, man. You can change to Magic Cool and I won't ever get it wrong again. 33 points. That's a good result for him because it moved him right up the order. Jay up to 8th place with 26. Chip Reese finished last today, but finishing in 11th gives him some good points for RWB Racing in 24th. Hannah with 21 points. And then, of course, we've got Diabolus Benji. Big Red, U of A, Pete Snow. Forza Ferrario didn't make it today. Igorski didn't make it today either. That rounds out your 15 drivers. Hopefully we can draft in a couple for the next couple of races. But that's it. Not much more to say. Listen, it's been brilliant racing. I want to thank you so much for joining me here for Division 3. I will see you guys in much less than 24 hours. Certainly we'll see you for Division 2. Touch wood, Chris can sort out his computer issues. He'll see you for Division 1 tomorrow. If he doesn't, of course, then I will step in to the breach and be Chris Light for Division 1. But see you tomorrow for more Porsche Cup action from HyPrix. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with the HyPrix GT Champions Porsche Cup. It's been emotional.
Welcome to the HyPrix Porsche Cup, presented by GT.